Good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday. Thankful Thursday. How's everyone doing? And I just want to say good evening again and welcome to another rendition, another episode of Transplant Talk with Nice Shonda Larimore. And guys, we have yet another wonderful, fabulous, fantastic show. And I cannot wait for you all to meet my guest again because this is part two of our interview. Okay. Now, I have a few house rules. One, I want you to like our page. I want you to subscribe to our page, Transplant Talk with Nice Shonda on YouTube. And then I also want you to share. Okay. Like and share. Have a watch party. And guys, I want you to enjoy the show. I want to remind everyone that this show is all about transplant, either needing one, you were a donor family, you had a family member that's in need. So I try to have all of the people, all of the transplant community. I try to bring them here, and it's a circuit that just to get this information out. Our guest today, and please let me say to all of the veterans, thank you so much for your service. You all were being honored on yesterday. You definitely have done something I could not do. I know I'm a teacher, and everybody can't be an educator, but thank you so much for your service. And let me say hello to my first guest, Miss Ann Larkins. Hello, how are you? Hello, and how are you? All right. Also, Miss Cullings. Hello, Teresa Smith Cullings. Hello. All right. Thank you all for coming on. Hopefully, you all came to hear Tony give his testimony of what happened to him and his life, and what an amazing story it is. So I have to make sure I give this disclaimer. If anyone is interested in if anyone is interested in becoming an organ donor, click the wrong one. Please go to donatelifeflorida.org, and then you're able to register. And then at the bottom, how did you hear about Florida's donor registry? Click other, and then specify save 1,000 lives. And again, this is in honor of Leonard Wayne Larimore, my late husband, who passed away April 25th in 2018. Hey, Mama. Hey, Miss Thelma. Look, I just see y'all right now, so I have to say hey. All right. So this evening, I had to go back to the ATL for my guest. Again, he was on the telethon that I did on August 29th. All right. And so I said, listen, I need to get you back again. You are a veteran. On yesterday, I said, oh, you're a veteran. I would love for you. First of all, let me honor you because you are a veteran. And then let's get your story, so that we can dig a little deeper into his story that he so graciously shared without even knowing me for the telethon. And I thank Ms. Warner for doing that and getting the Atlanta people together. Okay, so again, like, subscribe, share, do a watch party. And so we're going to get this party started. I'm going to bring Mr. Tony Larkins back. I'm going to bring him on. All right, so just so that you know, he's a veteran. He's a Navy man. Hope I say that right because my daddy's Army. So he's a Navy man. He's a father. He's a grandfather. And he is also a warrior. He is a heart transplant recipient and a warrior. And he's also an ambassador for organ donation. So everybody show him some love, give him some hearts, and let's welcome him. Hello, Tony. Hold on, let me unmute you. Hello, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing terrific, Shonda. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Look, thank you for saying yes. Absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. And I thought this would be such a great way to, celebrate you, also being a veteran. And, veterans go through a lot. And some veterans are just mistreated.
Yeah.
Honestly, they really are. So I'm just so glad that you're here. So we are going to dive right on in. And I want you to tell the audience just a little bit of the good stuff. Who is Tony Larkin?
Thank you. Well, my
Mhm.
name is Tony Larkins. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, um, 1961, September. I have a twin sister, Antoinette Larkins, who's my heart. We actually are like one person. I have one son, Kyle Larkins, who is my other heart, and I love him dearly. He has afforded me 5 grandchildren, two of which he's had since I've had my heart transplant. So that's definitely a miracle in itself. Um, my journey started actually back in summer of 2013. I'm a pretty healthy guy, had never really been sick. And
Mm,
one day I was out jogging, uh, felt a sharp pain in my chest, which isn't uncommon for someone running. So I kind of tried to run it off, but it wasn't like a normal pain. I
mhm,
remember immediately calling my son, who lived in New Jersey at the time, and just uh, felt the need to call him and tell him I love him. And
mm.
the next day, I went to the doctor and found out they diagnosed me with congestive heart failure.
Wait. Because I don't think everybody understand. You said you were in good health, and all of a sudden, this happened to you while you were jogging.
Right. Had
Wow.
never been sick before.
Never.
Uh,
Wow.
Now, when
Wow.
they told me about congestive heart failure, I know I had heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, people, have that. It's pretty common.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Unfortunately for me, I had two brothers pass away
Right.
before the age of 50
Right. So I'm
from
glad
heart
you knew
problems.
that. I'm glad you said that because again, it that this goes back to family history as well.
And for me at the time, I really did not have a family history, so to speak.
Okay.
We were raised in foster homes. I was
Mm,
a foster child from the age of around 3 until I was 16. Uh,
mm.
3 foster homes, but I would say God is good because they were all a blessing.
All of that.
Uh, Taught the stressed education. Education was key in all the families. Stressed the importance of religion,
Okay.
and expressed really the importance of equality. That no person is better than anyone else, and no person is less than anyone else.
Mm.
So I thank God for that upbringing.
Okay. And the other blessing is you and your sister were together the whole time.
Right.
And because you are were twins, they were so kind enough to keep you all together.
Yes, and
And
that's
listen,
definitely a blessing.
listen, Miss Ann, I should have had you on the interview too because she is just saying she is loving, she's loving you and how handsome you look. But what a blessing to grow up. And I just want to show Miss Ann that's his twin, everybody. All right. And
Yeah.
we just wanted to just make sure people understand that there were some things in your life. You have a very colorful story. Um, with your life. So let's get to the you were
For the
jogging.
jogging, and like I said, I got diagnosed with congestive heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
Was put on medicine. At that time, probably going to the doctor 3 days a week.
Okay.
Um, a lot of diuretics, to bring
Mm-hmm.
fluid off of you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, it was. I was still working at the time.
Okay.
I was a branch manager at an electrical supply house in sales. So, but I think like everyone thinks when you get diagnosed with, man, it's funny. When you get diagnosed that you can beat it. The first thing comes to mind, well, I can beat this.
Right.
Um, Prayer, I prayed, I'm thinking I could beat this.
Right.
Three
Just pray
months
your way
later, right. Yeah.
out.
But three
Okay.
months later, I found myself in the emergency room,
Mm.
near death. Before the ambulance got called, I had lost all my bodily functions.
Mm.
Um, I was in Kennesaw here in Marietta, Georgia, and at that point there was nothing they could do. My heart was probably my EF factor was probably about 6 or 7%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, for the guests that don't know, what is an EF? Well, what
that's
does it do?
your EF factor is your factor that your heart beats at.
Right.
So it's telling your beats per second, I guess. But it's usually around 45, 50%. Mine was 3%. Um,
3%, guys. Three.
six of six. It was very low, 6%.
Okay.
But the thing was, on the emergency room, in the operating room, they were basically said that there's nothing else they could do. They
Hmm.
had got me stable, and I remember there was a nurse there on my side holding my hand, and holding my hand like everything's gonna be all right. That feeling like she knows that this is it. And I thank God for nurses because they are a blessing in themselves.
They
I mean, they
are.
see you through normally the worst of your time.
They
And
do.
unfortunately, when you get sick, a lot of people think ever come back again.
Mm-hmm.
I made a point that when I got out of the hospital, the first thing I did was went back to the hospital to visit the nurses.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, at that time, that nurse was looking at me like this was it, and I was at peace with it. I'm a believer. I know for a fact that I'm gonna die. That's
Right.
nothing that's shocking.
Right.
Um, so that wasn't it. So basically, when they said that, I started praying. I'll be honest, and just the prayer that, hey God, if this is it, then that's the way it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours later, the doctor was in that emergency room, came back in the hospital and said, "We just heard about a doctor in Piedmont that does LVADs. Would you like to go?"
Mm-hmm.
And without hesitation, I thought, of course. First 2 hours ago you told me I was going to die, so now you're telling me, of course. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I told him yes, and I was transferred immediately to another hospital.
And so, without knowing everything that's involved with an LVAD and where they were putting it, you immediately said, I want to live. And so, give me that LVAD.
Right. And probably because I did not know what the LVAD was.
Uh-huh.
I did
And a
not
lot of it.
know it was an open heart surgery, like a transplant. It basically was an implant.
Right.
Um,
Foreign device.
no, right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably better that I did not know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, because if I probably had time to think about it, I
Mhm.
probably other thoughts would have settled
Right.
in. But this was in late November. I was in the hospital. I had to stay in there for over a month because I had too much fluid on my body
Mm-hmm.
before they could do the operation.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up moving 32 liters of fluid from my body. And I'm a small person. I think at that time I was up to 180. And what's funny about it is I probably averaged 140 all my life, 140, 150.
Okay.
At this time I was gaining weight, and I'm happy. I'm like, God, I'm finally gaining weight. In my
Oh,
50s,
wow.
50s at the time.
Right.
Uh, Not knowing that the weight I was gaining was water weight. You know what I mean? But that's one sign that when people are gaining a lot of weight,
Mm-hmm.
water weight, then that means the kidneys are not functioning
Right.
properly. So once they got the fluid off, they were able to do the operation. I got my LVAD on January the 8th, 2014,
Mm-hmm.
which is Elvis Presley's birthday.
Okay.
And the nurses named it the LVAD, meaning the Elvis bad, the
Oh,
EL pad, which
okay.
I thought was very humorous
Mm-hmm.
and uplifting,
Okay.
because they were acting like it was not a big deal. So for me, it was a great celebration. Now, I will say, coming out of the surgery, things aren't always roses. It
Right.
was
Right.
scary. The first thing for me was getting the tube out of your throat,
Right.
which they tell you when you come through out. That's the first thing they're gonna have to do. If
Mm-hmm.
they can't get it out 3 tries, they're gonna have to do a trach.
Mm.
So that was an awesome feeling knowing that finally came out.
Right. Right. Okay. So let me just get some details. How long were you in surgery for the LVAD?
The LVAC didn't take long. I think I was in surgery 4 hours. It
4?
was not about 4 hours. It was not a long operation. It was
Wow.
really, it was, the LVAD was easy for me.
Wow.
Um, I was in the hospital maybe a week and a half
What? What? And
after.
don't tell that. Wait, listen, because when you told me yesterday, you know, the the length of time that and you had the surgery, you did your recovery, and then not long after that, you went back to work with the LVAD.
30 days.
Thir-
I was back at work. Yeah.
So listen,
Uh, God is
he's a
good.
good God because there are some people, and I don't know like how many people are watching, but I definitely know that when he got the LVAD, that wasn't no 30 days. It was rough, and God bless you that
God
you
is
were able
good.
to go back to work in 30 days
Every day.
after having an open heart um oh goodness, a procedure, an open heart procedure. You went right back to work 30 days later. That is to me amazing. Amazing.
Right. And to me, I'm gonna be honest, my faith had a lot to do with it because I wanted to get back out there and show
Okay.
people how good God is.
Okay.
So that I remember when I went back to work, it was doing inventory time, and we were working late one day, and heard this beeping noise, and I'm looking around, what's this
Mhm.
noise, and my assistant manager at the time come on in, that's your batteries, because you know that these batteries have alarms on them after they've been on you for a while to let you know, hey, it's time to change your batteries.
Right, 10 to 12
Yeah,
hours. So
10 to
you was
12
working
hours.
a long time. You was working a
I
long
worked over
time.
12 hours that day, yeah, because it was inventory. So we normal inventory, we work from 8 in the morning till 1 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Tony.
But that's the nature of the job. But I have batteries in the car, so I was able to change and get back to work, so to
Oh
speak.
my goodness. Oh
Which I
my.
think is healthy because once again, my mind was not on. My mind was on being normal. When
Okay.
I got my LVAD, the one thing the doctor told me was just go back to being normal. Don't act like
Mhm.
this is going to stop you from anything.
Okay.
The only
Mind
thing I
over
couldn't
matter.
do was go. Well, mind over matter, but also it's the truth because if you put in your mind that you can't do something, you won't do it.
Mm.
And once you tell yourself that, it's over. But it's the same thing when you tell yourself, I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
it
My
normally
good-
happens because you
my
set your goal, it can happen. You
my
know,
goodness. My goodness. Yeah, yeah, I yes, I was in awe when you definitely said that. So now I wanted to move because I want to move towards you getting or finding out that or at least the doctors asked you, because when was the decision made to move from transplant to because I know you can get a transplant and or you can get the LVAD and not have a heart transplant. In your mind, you weren't thinking about getting a heart transplant, correct?
correct. Well, I got a LVAD, which saved my life.
Okay.
So at that point, I'm thanking God. I'm
Mm,
blessed to be alive. What
mhm.
more can I have than be alive?
You're right. Yeah.
So, right, life is life is that's that. It's life. So I'm working, going about normal things. I mean, I did not miss any appointments. I
Mm,
was sure and careful to listen to everything the doctor said because
mm.
once again, this is a machine in my body.
Exactly.
There's a wire coming out of my body. I have
Yeah.
to plug in every night,
Right.
um, and I have batteries that I'm wearing all day.
Right.
So it's not normal per se. So
Hmm.
there's things you have to do.
Hmm.
I made sure I took care of my drive line,
Right.
which is the line that's coming out of you.
Right. And again, I have to pause you. And I know that this was not, known to everybody, but you changed that yourself.
Yes, yeah, I changed my
Now,
drive line.
let me tell you something, Tony. When I had to learn how to do that, it probably took me an hour. I mean, just even learning how to put on the surgical gloves and cleaner. I was so nervous. just doing that. I think I was shaking like a leaf when I had to learn how to do that, And in that moment, in my mind, I was thinking, Lord, if this man gets an infection or if something happened to this man, in fact, the family gonna get on me. They're gonna be so mad. And you did this by yourself. I'm
Right.
just I'm blown away because one, I could never have seen him try to change the drive line himself because you didn't want to risk infections and you wanted everything to be clean and a taxiderm. Like I was just blown away when you said that. So for me, that another amazing moment. That's why to me this story is so phenomenal. Now I would not tell anybody to change their own drive line, but if you have, please
No, not
let
to
me
taking the drive line. I'm talking about cleaning the drive line.
just clean it. Okay,
Yeah,
just
not. I never had to take it out the
well, I hope not.
controller. Oh no, no, that's something totally different. No,
Yes, okay.
no,
Boy,
it's
but
just the cleaning, yeah, with the
to
and
clean
put
it,
your
Tony, that's
right,
crazy.
yeah.
That was
But
crazy.
then you have to. I mean, I had the shower bag, so a lot of people didn't even use their shower bag because they were afraid.
Right, right.
But they're precautions. I mean, I never wore a belt. I never wore anything around my waist because that's where my
Mm-hmm.
drive line was. I
Mm-hmm.
wore suspenders.
Mm-hmm.
I bought me a special made vest to keep my batteries because the batteries were heavy,
Right.
and I used to see a lot of people leaning over.
Uh-huh.
This
With
vest
them.
would made you stay straight the whole time, so
So
you didn't have any.
did you have a Heartmate 2 or Heartmate 3? Do you remember the
I had
kind?
the Heartmate too.
Okay. And those were the bigger batteries or
The
the
huge bat. Oh, they were
yes.
4 or 5 pounds each.
Right, right. Okay. Wow. They put those on you because those are the kind that I had the experience with. But I'm surprised they put them on you because you were such a
Well, the
small.
other ones went out there. I got
Oh,
one
Heartmate 3
with
wasn't
three.
out.
No,
Okay.
mm-mm,
Okay.
no,
Wow.
exactly.
Wow. That is amazing. So, as I told you, I won't hold you long. Um, take me to um the day you got the call that they actually found a heart for you. Would paint that picture for me.
Okay. Before that, I'll say I had my LVAC a year
Okay.
before I was able to get on the list for a heart
Okay.
because you have to um, do well with the LVAC.
Right.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
after a year with no issues at all, I was able to get on the list for a heart.
Okay.
So I got on the list, and believe it or not, 4 months later, I got the call, which is a miracle itself because I wasn't expecting a heart transplant. When
Four.
my doctor came to me and asked me, did I want a heart transplant? I told him no.
Right.
And the reason why was because I know someone had to die in order for me to get a heart. And even to this day, that doesn't sound like something that I would, I mean, that doesn't sound right. I mean, I'm
Right.
not going to wait for someone to die for me to live.
Right.
And the doctor told me people sign up to be organ donors on their own,
Mm-hmm.
and that is their wish.
Mm-hmm.
And really, but what I'm doing at that point, I will be honoring their wish, and that gave me a whole different outlook on basically organ transplantation.
Okay.
Because once again, just because you get on the list doesn't mean you're gonna get a call because people are on the list for years,
Right.
because there are over 100,000 people waiting for organs.
Correct.
That's so, it's not something just because you get on the list. I still look at life like, hey, I'm still alive. I'm not going to focus on, hey, waiting on a heart. I'm going to focus
Mm-hmm.
on living. So when I
Right.
got the call 4 months later, I was at work. It was
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock in the morning. Um, and it's Piedmont calling, and I answered as my nurse, Petra, calling, and she says to me, we have we have a heart for you. And
Wow.
all I could do at that point was cry, just even know that you, first of all, getting this call and I'm not even expecting it.
Right.
Uh, it was a miracle from God. And it was 4 months later. So I tell the guy who was at work, you're on your own, basically, because I'm out of here.
And
And
you were at work
I was
again
at
at
work.
work. Your sister say you're a workaholic, so she knows you quite well.
All right, and don't tell too much, please. But
She
but
telling it
no.
all.
Oh, I see. But no, and it was, went home, packed my bags, and went to the hospital. And going in that when they call you, it may be a dry run. If something could happen, they could reject the heart. So you're kind of prepared for that. You're not hoping for that, but
Mm,
you're kind of
yeah.
preparing for that.
Yeah, we
You
don't
know,
like dry runs. We don't like those at all.
and after being in there probably about 4 hours, they said, "Hey, the heart's good. We're ready."
Okay.
And all I remember after that is, I remember one doctor coming up to me and saying, "I hope you're a praying man." And I said, "Yes, I am. I'm
Okay.
glad to know that you are,
Okay.
because that's what really matters."
Oh wow.
So they do the thing when they roll you down the hall.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like almost like a reunion because this was my second time going in this hospital for surgery.
Right.
First time was, open heart surgery, basically taking a implant. This time they're taking the LVAD out and
Right.
putting a heart in, which could be complicated.
Now, was the surgery longer? Was your heart transplant longer this time because you had the LVAD? And again, you had to, crack back open your chest, and you were in a coma before, and so now you're going to repeat this cycle.
Right. Well, the heart transplant was not as
Evasive.
it was worse. Well, I would say that it was not as easy as the LVAD.
Oh, okay.
When I got my heart transplant, I actually was in a coma for 5 days, a self-induced coma.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of internal bleeding. It
Mm-hmm.
could have been from taking the VAD out. I ended up getting a lot of different operations while I was in there. So 5 days in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, I didn't feel anything, so I had a lot of rest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure for other people, it was, it didn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I came to with that one and
Mm-hmm.
had to get the tube out again. Now it's the second time,
All
and it's kind of eerie because it's almost like I was prepared for the heart transplant because all the steps they did with the LVAC
right.
is what they're doing with the heart transplant. So I had
Correct.
already was used to this tube coming out.
Okay.
But this time it was rougher. And I remember the third time, the nurse was saying, "Hey, look, if we don't get it out this time, we're going to have to do a trach."
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'd had to muster up all my power because basically what you're doing is you're coughing as hard as you can so they can
Get it out.
get it out of you. And
Yeah.
it came out. And I remember after it came out, I just looked over to the nurse and said, "I love you," because it was like, uh, no, it was a great feeling. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
honest. But the operation was a little harder. I was in the hospital a month and a half after that,
Okay.
and
Oh, so you sat still for that time.
yes, I did as much as possible. Because I will say this: when you're in the hospital after you get an operation,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I remember the first couple of days after I was able to sit up, I would lay in my bed because they make their rounds every day.
Right. Right.
And I would think that I'm laying there because I'm waiting on them to come in. And I heard the nurse tell me, say, "Hey, look, it would be better." Hey, Steve, how you doing? It would be better if you are up, dressed, and sitting up when they come in because
Okay.
that'll help you get out.
Right. You
So
gotta
you know what
move.
I did? Every day I had my teeth brushed. I'm sitting there like
All
ready
right.
to go because
All
that's all
right.
you had to do is tell me what I need to do. I'm gonna do it.
All right. You're
So
so
and
diligent.
yeah.
Such a good patient, Tony. Such a good
I
patient.
was a very good patient because I would tell you a story. When I was in the hospital right after I had my heart transplant,
Mm-hmm.
nurses they there to help you, and I felt that I didn't want to bother them. And there was this one time where I had to go to the bathroom bad, but I didn't want to bother the nurse. I know it sounds bad, but I felt like, look, I could do this on my own, or I just didn't want. I had to go real bad, and I don't think I could get to the button or something. But no, it was like uh, it was bad. But anyway, I made it all the way to the bathroom, and and then I lost everything. I mean, I lost if you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then I remember the nurse coming in there, and I'm on the floor and everything, and she said, "Why didn't you just call me?" And I was like, I didn't want to bother you. And she was like,
Oh
you're
wow.
not bothering me. This
That's
is my
our
job.
job.
Right. But when you're in that situation, and it's probably a man thing, you really, it's your pride.
Right.
Now I learned after that to always call the nurse.
Right.
But at that point,
Always.
I was, I just want, I actually thought I was bothering because first of all, nurses work hard. They're constantly room, and
Right. 12
I
hours
just
a
felt
day. Yeah.
exactly,
12 hours
and
a day.
after a while they become family because
Right.
that's all you see,
Yes.
you
I got
know.
plenty of family at Mayo. I love
Yeah,
those ladies.
yeah,
I love
great people,
this. Right.
but they're she, I felt bad, but she felt worse. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Because that's her
So,
job. She's there to help you.
but you know what? I wanted to be the best patient there, so I can get the heck out.
Well, the
You know,
best patient meant calling the nurse. And then
I
what did the doctor say? Or did they not even bother you?
no, they
They
didn't.
didn't
I
bother
mean, no, it was now when I was getting out, the day I was getting out for my heart transplant,
you. Mm-hmm.
I was getting checked out, and I'm excited. And I'm sitting in the room, getting ready to check out, and there's a Sharpie on the floor, or a highlighter somebody had dropped.
Okay.
So I go, me, Mr. Tony, I go and pick it up. I go and try to pick it up.
Uh-huh.
And I slipped and did a split. I know. And I
Oh,
ripped something inside.
oh,
Now,
you didn't tell me
my
this.
heart rate, no, my heart is racing. Bump, 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 bump. I'm still on the monitor. They come
Right.
running in there. And at that point, I'm sitting in the chair, trying to get my weight down.
Oh,
And they come in the room. Because it went off. And they, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Never told them I fell.
right.
And they're saying they were almost going to keep me in there, but I'm like, oh no, I'm getting out. It's been at least a month and a half.
Okay.
So I check out, but unfortunately, I end up going back in for another month because I had got a hematoma in my leg when I did the split. The
Mm.
moral of that story is next I leave that highlighter down
Leave it
there.
right there. No,
But I was not going to stay in that hospital any longer, and
wow.
but then I had
Well,
to end up going back in there.
right.
But
Right.
it
But
was
I have one question. I think my dad that I think he got the heart transplant. He had the LVAC for a year, right, Tony?
a
Had it
year and 4 months.
a year and 4 months. Okay. So I just wanted to clear up because that was a question. And then my brother, all the way from California, Mr. Henderson, says, you represent strength, Tony. Stubborn like me when it came to work. But you did it, brother. So thank you. Yeah. I need y'all men to be less stubborn sometimes. Just less stubborn. All right. And my dad told me don't stop, time is good. So if I get the green light from dad, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. But I wanted to make sure because that's not the end of your story. Because even though you got out and you had to go back in, you end up going back in again. Now this was the y'all saying wow and whoa now. And for everybody that has shared, thank you. If you haven't shared yet, please keep sharing because this part right here is just still amazing because after the heart transplant, yes, drink your water so you can get this story out. So after the heart transplant, you're good. You are. Tell a story. I can't do the story justice. Go ahead and tell us what happened.
Well, I had my heart. It was actually on my third anniversary. I mean, things were going good, to be honest. And
This
right
was
after my
3 years?
third anniversary,
Okay, this was 3 years.
this was 3 years.
Okay, 3 years
It was
later.
actually May 20th, 2018.
Okay.
And
Oh, that
for
was
some reason, I didn't feel good. I felt dizzy, and I passed out one day.
okay.
I mean, and I don't know if anyone's ever passed out. When you pass out, you don't realize you pass out because you passed out and you get up. Now, a couple of days later, I still didn't feel good, and I passed out again. And this time, I knew something wasn't right. So I called my son, who lived probably a mile away, and I told him, "Hey, look, I'm not feeling good. I'm gonna need you to come and get me, take me to the hospital." I live a quarter mile from Piedmont Henry. My son came over and got me, and I immediately passed out. And he rushed me to the hospital. When he got out the car, they started doing CPR right in front of the hospital. Um, they got me on a gurney and took me inside, and they did CPR for 59 minutes. 59 minutes. 15 times with a defibrillator. My son told me that the guy who was on top of me was about 300 pounds,
Mm.
trying to save my life.
Wow.
Normally, they do not perform CPR
That
for longer
long.
than 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember when I got out the hospital after this, I went back to that hospital and asked them, why did you keep going? And they told me because of my son. Now, my son told them not to stop. Don't give up on my dad. And they said, as long as a family member or someone tells them not to stop, they will not stop. I did not know that, but I'm glad to know that. So for anyone out there knowing that, their job is to save your life. I know there are a
Absolutely.
lot of myths in this world,
Thank you.
especially for our people,
Right.
that think that they're not going to save your life.
Right.
Now, I know on my thing where they ask you, some people want to, on your DNS, my thing says resuscitate, 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 and then resuscitate again.
The
Because,
5 hours.
right, because, but not to make a joke of, but 59 minutes, this is how good God is.
Yes, yes,
Um,
he is.
when they got me stable with Henry, they transferred me to Piedmont in Atlanta. And
Mm-hmm.
then they started trying to get me stable. I was in a coma 2 days down there. My son was with me. He said there was times where they thought they would lose me.
Mm-hmm.
They told him, if your dad does come to, he'll more than likely be brain dead
Mm-hmm.
because he hasn't had oxygen to his brain. I came to 2 days later, and I remember the nurses and doctors looked at me and asked me, did I know my name? And I said, Tony Larkins. And they said, do you know where you are? And I looked over, I said, Piedmont Hospital. And they looked at me like, this is not happening. First of all, you're not supposed to be talking, let alone have sense. But God is good because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm living proof here, standing here talking to you that God is good. Prayer works.
Mm.
At that point, I had people in my hospital room praying at my bedside. Normal situations, they don't let people in there unless they're their family. I had, believe it or not, lifelink volunteers around my bed
Mm.
praying for me.
Mm.
God is good
Yes,
because
he is.
I'm here to tell you now. I got out of the hospital 30 days later. Walking miracle. I've slowed down a lot since then. I have. I've always appreciated life,
Mm-hmm.
but after that, it gave me a different perspective on life.
Absolutely.
I asked myself, why me, God? Why? We all have a calling in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mine, I've always been a loving person. I love people. I love to give. I've been given so much by being in foster homes. And, I was a member of the Navy, which was, to me was my father was in the Army, so
Mm-hmm.
it was just already meant to me to be a volunteer. So I don't
Okay.
mind serving.
Mm-hmm.
I love God. I love my church. I'm a member of Grace Baptist in Stockbridge, Georgia,
Okay.
which is a blessing for me too, because I think the more we understand the Word, the more we understand our purpose in life.
Absolutely.
So I devote my time now to volunteering. When I got my LVAC, after about a week later, I was at the hospital speaking to nurses and because they always want to know how you are afterwards. And this is key.
A
I
week
made a
later?
point to go back. Huh?
A week later.
Yes, because you have to go there for visits anyway.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right.
so they
Okay.
say, hey, could you go talk, or could you go to this room and talk to this person who's thinking about getting an LVAC?
Your
Uh,
sister is
I
telling
know.
you all your business.
Um, they because when a person's gone through something, that's a blessing for someone who's going to go through something.
Yeah.
Because so I did a lot of volunteering at the hospital.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna be honest, about at least twice a week, I was down there because once again, I was given so much, and
Mm-hmm.
every time I saw a nurse or a doctor, it was a blessing because they saw me walking around, especially after being out 59 minutes.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Doctors looked at me one way, and I got the heart transplant. After that, they looked at me totally different
Right.
because they can't explain it. I mean, only thing they knew, I had a DVD in my arm, which caused a blood clot.
Mm.
The heart is still doing great.
Wow.
Now, I do not know my donor family. I've written, but I will say this: I honor them, and I honor all the people who are donors because
Wow.
that's a gift from God.
Absolutely. And I again thank you so much for your candidness. You know, again, a lot of people won't share it, but you omitted that you had a kidney scare as well, and you also had to do dialysis.
Yes. Well, while in the hospital after being 59 minutes in CPR,
Mm-hmm.
my kidneys had shut down,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember the kidney doctor coming to me and said, "Your kidneys are shut down. You got acute kidney failure, and you're going to have to be on dialysis, and there could be a chance that you might have to get a kidney
Kidney transplant. Mm-hmm.
kidney transplant." And I immediately start praying because I think that's the key to anything. When someone says something like that, well, let's see what God has to say.
Exactly.
I end up doing. I'm in my first stint with dialysis. Through the arm. It was vein. It was not a pretty sight. They did it in the bed,
Okay.
in the room.
In the hospital.
In the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
The second time it started getting a little scarier. At the time I had never heard of creatinine level, and so I asked him, "So what is my?" Because I was going to the bathroom, I said, "So what is wrong?" They said, "Well, your creatinine level was high. It was around 9, and it should be around 1."
One or two. Right.
Right. So having once they told me that, I started praying for my creatinine level to come down every day
Okay.
when I did creatinine. I
Absolutely.
did I did 7 stints of dialysis, and on the 7th one was the time it was the worst I ever felt. I mean, I
Yeah.
threw up. I was very weak,
Mm-hmm.
and dialysis is very hard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's painful. Um, they had put a port in my chest because at the
Right.
time they were looking for me a bed to assign me to because you have to go 3 days a week.
Right.
So they put that port in my chest, and then I had my 7th time of dialysis, and after that, they came back to the room and maybe a day later and said, "Your creatinine level has gone down, and your kidneys are working perfectly."
Wow. Look
And
at
I said, "Thank you, God." Now I would
that.
say this: I wasn't shocked because God. I'm a believer in God, and when God says He's going to do something, you can't be shocked. You just have to believe it. And was
Mm.
I thankful? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is a miracle. Because I'll be honest, that's after the 7th one, I'm thinking, okay, I have to prepare myself for dialysis. I mean,
Mhm.
and I was ready because once again, if God doesn't put more on you than you can handle.
Amen.
So if that was His will, I would have had, but it wasn't His will. I haven't had any issues with my kidneys. I haven't had any issues with my heart.
Mm.
Um,
No more
I,
problems.
no, I remember. I haven't seen that kidney doctor that said that, but we all could be a little mistaken. That's all I can say.
Amen.
But once again, prayer works because at that time when they said that about my kidneys, I'm thinking, well, God, you brought me through 59 minutes, 15 times with a defibrillator, with a guy 300 pounds on my chest, and I
Right.
had no broken ribs.
Oh,
That's I mean, a defibrillator. That's you know that all that, and then the kidneys.
right.
So
Right.
once again, and it was all God. I mean, I
Oh God.
can't take credit for it. I don't even understand it.
Right.
I don't even understand, to be honest with you, how a person could take a heart out of someone and put it into someone else, and then just see you later. That's got to be God.
Absolutely. Right. Right. And I'm often reminded of, oh goodness, the Pay sisters, how she talks about, now how does a brown cow eat green grass and produces white milk? Like how does that even happen? It can only be a higher power. It can only be a creator.
Mhm.
And so you very and my brother-in-law Sydney would say one time, he said, I just want to know, if you tell me to pray, tell me what I'm praying for, so that I know exactly what to ask God for on your behalf. So your intentional praying is just
Mhm.
always so important, and to be connected with God. And I'm telling anybody right now, if you have never seen a miracle, you keep watch this show and watch all
Mhm.
the other shows, that, they are miracles. These are walking miracle people. And right now in my spirit, I said, listen, I got to take this show on the road. I have got to take it on the road. And I need Tony and everybody else. And Emmett, we're going to have to come to California for you and Craig, because these stories are so fascinating. And, I thank God for this platform, because somebody right now, you feel it, Daddy? You okay? I'm telling you, right now, somebody needs some encouragement. And what my show does, I hope and I pray that this platform God has given me allows other people to see, what you all are going through, and they can say, but God,
but
but God, if I keep my faith and keep my connection, before I even get out the bed in the morning at 5 in the morning, I have my Bible and I am reading the Bible act or Apple. I'm looking for something that, is going to encourage me today, because I need uplifting, because I'm going to a school and we have COVID, and I'm responsible for these kids, and I'm trying not to, get sick myself and then come home, because then my daughter has to take care of me. And so I have to stay prayed up. And I'm so glad that all of my guests make sure they are connected with God. And that's how I was raised. There's no other person but God. I can't talk to nobody else, because Buddha didn't do it for me. God did.
exactly.
I have to make sure that, that I stay connected. And I'm so grateful to have met you and honored that you would come on my show and just tell your story. So again, I got to take this show on the road. I literally felt that in my spirit. God just spoke to me. He said, we got to go on the road. So COVID, be gone.
Amen.
You have to come to Atlanta, to Georgia, to Alabama, to New York, to New Jersey, to Maryland. We have to come. And I can't forget Malcolm. I got to go up there, because he's going to have a barbecue for me in Nebraska. So we definitely have to, we have to, and I would love for you to come. So I'm telling you right now, and I'm waiting for Miss Thelma to go ahead and have her kidney transplanted. We're going on the road. Come on, Steve, get ready to go too. So and all my other Brown brothers, we have to go on the road. We gonna have our own circuit so that people can.
And that's the other thing is about transplant. You meet a lot of great
people.
I mean, I've been following you for a while, and I knew your story about your husband, and it touches my heart. And especially with the LVAC, because I'm a LVAC person.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be, I'm going to always be an LVAC person. And it's dear to my heart. And whenever I get to talk to people with LVAC, I mean, life is about encouraging people.
Yes, it is.
I mean, the biggest gift you can give anyone is just saying, it's okay, you're going to make it. Because God is the encourager. He encourages us to be encouraged. So I love speaking to people. I've been given a platform with this gift that I've been given. And I don't take it lightly. I mean, like I said, I share my story. You called me yesterday or contacted me yesterday for something, and trust me, the answer is always going to be yes when it comes to events like this. And I do. I mean, Aisha, a good friend of mine, Sadria. I mean, we're here, the Georgia crew. We're good. I mean, Teresa Smith is on the phone. I met her through an event. And that was actually in a play that she puts on, and it's for organ donation. And she does it every year. I mean, she's a great person. Reach out to her. And this networking, I mean, Steve is, Steve, the kidney nurse. Never met him, but awesome man. Because he's an advocator.
And he stays busy. Steve is busy.
The Brown brothers, so I try to follow. Now, unfortunately, we can't see everybody at the same time, because we're all doing stuff. But no, I love telling people about the story. I love telling people about how good God has been. And this is the thing: if He's like that to me, He's like that for everyone.
Absolutely.
He
you just gotta love Him and trust Him.
You gotta love Him, right? That's it.
Trust Him.
And have that mustard seed kind of faith. Because,
absolutely.
He can do it, and He's the one.
Wow. Well, I thank you. Thank you so much. And my daddy is allowing me to keep going. Yes, my dad says that
thank you, Major.
You're without question a man on a mission, and we are so grateful. Miss Verna, I haven't forgotten about you. You and Miss Jamie gonna have to come along with me, and Malcolm, we going. We're going. So I'm going to end the show. And Tony, you just stay right there for a second until after I close out the show. And I just thank you so much again. And
Thank you for having me.
thank you. And thank you everybody for watching. Thank you. And Miss Ann, yes, you can
Thanks,
come with us
Ann.
too. Yes, she coming too. Because
Oh,
she's
I know she is. I love you, twin.
yeah, she got the twin power going on. So she says she has to go too. And I am just so yes, I've been trying to get Miss Strong on here too. So hopefully we can get that going as well. So God, thank you so much, Thelma. Look, you people from Atlanta, my people in Atlanta, y'all show out when y'all get on my show. So I am
Love you, Thelma.
absolutely grateful. And Teresa says blessing to you. I think she's the one that said you are a tremendous actor. So hello.
Well, look, God gave me a voice. I don't know about the rest.
Well, okay. All right. He gave you so many blessings. What a wonderful, wonderful story. Okay. And hold on, Tony. I'll be right back with you. All right. So again, guys, thank you all again for watching. I love you from the bottom of my heart for watching, for sharing, supporting. Still share, do a watch party. And if you know, oh, thank you, Ann, the twins, because that's a story with you too. You should have been on because I was wondering if you was feeling what he was feeling when he was going through what he was going through. So again, thank you all. Thank you all so much. Tune in again. Thanks, Daddy. Tune in again next week for another great show. I had another plan in mind for there's another special weekend coming up. But I'm gonna have to postpone those plans for a little while. So thank you, Derek. You know, I love y'all. I'm so grateful for being the force behind the voices and the community of transplant talk. And for the whole transplant community, I thank you. Keep sharing your stories. Keep your faith in God. God bless you all. Good night.